Hey, so I just wanted to make a video showing you a little more info about how to handle the rats. So every day I try to let these guys out at least once a day each. So this crew gets out once a day, and then my feral rat WR can get out once a day, ideally. If you can't do that, it's totally understandable because it's a lot. And so at the very least, it'd be awesome to let him out once a day because he doesn't have all of, these guys have each other in a bigger cage, so this guy really needs the stimulation. So with these guys, these two who are conveniently next to each other right here, this is Tofu and this is Pigeon. They are really young, so they're barely starting to be the same size as this guy. He's my older guy, Spinach. So they're a little more skittish, and this guy is like really socialized. So like he loves people. He'll come right up to you. He'll like want to crawl on you. Whereas these guys are a little harder. They're still really sweet and like attention, but they're a little harder to catch. And I think especially for strangers. So as you can see, they're learning how to come out on their own. What I was gonna say is that Spinach right here, he is really trustworthy. If you let him run around up here, I have everything in here pretty much set up in a way that I feel safe with the rats. So like, they don't really chew on these types of cords. They only really like to chew like Apple product cords with the rubbery finish on them. So I actually let them out here for like hours sometimes, even unsupervised if I close the door downstairs. And I feel good about it. So you're totally welcome to like leave them up here or hang out with them while they're out. But they like to spend time under here for some reason. I think it feels safe to them. They'll often also go in these boxes that I have set up. So if you're like, oh my God, where are they? They might just be in here or in this tube. And so what I was gonna suggest is maybe letting Spinach run around out here because he's so much easier to catch. Like if he sees you, he'll come up to you. Whereas the babies, like when I have to put them back away, I'll kind of like put my hands here and they'll usually come. Sometimes I have to reach in and grab them, but I don't want you to have to like worry about, whether it's hard to get them back. So I would say you could let Spinach run around, and the babies don't need as much stimuli, I think, because they're still kind of like excited. They still seem satisfied with their like large cage compared to Spinach. Since he's older, he just like craves more change, I think. But something else I do with the babies that I think is more manageable is you can let them run around on this bed if you're comfortable with that. Depending on if you're gonna sleep here, it's totally fine if you'd rather not, because if they're out for a long time, they might poop, but for the most part, they're pretty good about not, doing that outside of their cage. But you could let them run around up here, and the babies don't know how to jump down from here, so it's a much more manageable way to kind of get them out and in a different environment to kind of give them stimulation through the day while Spinach runs around. And it's actually really cute because if you're hanging out on here with them, he'll like jump up because he knows how to climb up and down the bed, even though they don't because they're too small. So he'll be like laying here with them and he'll just climb up, and it's really cute. And then like he'll hang out up here and then you'll hear a thump, and that's him having jumped back down. So it's very cute. You'll just see them kind of running around this space. And like I said, if you want to let them out and just leave them for like an hour and then come get them, that's totally cool. One thing that's important is when they're out, we need to pull this box away from WR's cage because I worry that they'll climb onto his cage and that he'll be able to bite them, which happened once with my old rat who got on his cage, and I don't know that it would happen again, but I just want to kind of make sure, since they're not, socialized together, I want to make sure they're safe, and so I don't want them to be able to climb his cage, and that's why these barriers are here. Same with these barriers here. They're not able to climb each other's cages, which is helpful. Hi, Pigeon, you want to run around? And so, yeah, it's really easy. You can hang out up here with them. Spinach will probably want to crawl all over you. Like I said, these guys, the little ones, will keep their distance. And then after like an hour or less, they usually like to go back in. They really like their home. So that's the deal with the trio. And then once you put them back, either later in the day or right afterwards or right before, you could let WR out. And so with him, it's actually really chill. Like sometimes I'll even leave his cage door open overnight. If you don't end up sleeping over here, that's totally an option where I trust him. Like, I've done it enough times where I don't worry about it because I know that after about an hour or two, he'll put himself back in his home. He really likes his home. It's his nest. So even though he can't really be picked up and handled the way the other guys can, and by the way, these guys will never bite you. Like, you don't have to worry, like, if I grab him, will he bite me? They will not bite. They've never bitten a person. So you don't have to worry about that. With him, he was like I rescued him from someone who tried to feed him to her snake, and twice the snake wouldn't eat him. So he's a quote feeder rat, and so he just has had kind of a rough background. So he's not a rat that you can pick up safely. If you ever really need to pick him up, you can use these gloves. There's like gardening gloves inside of these like thick leather gloves here that I use to grab him if I really need to, but generally I don't need to do this because the way I let him out is I just drag this box over to his cage and I open his door and he'll like just hop down onto here and run around, and like I said, when he's finished he'll just put himself away, and so you can come up here like an hour or two later and he'll probably be in his spaceship sleeping. So it makes things pretty easy, I think. Like I said, even overnight this is fine to do. I also quickly wanted to just show you, I don't think you're gonna need to do much, maintenance of their cage or cleaning or anything, because it's gonna be, not too long that we're gonna be gone, like 10 days or so. Actually, I think you'll be caring for them for like a week. So if it gets stinky, which heads up, it probably will start to get a little stinky as they sort of use their litter boxes. I'm gonna, clean everything before I leave, but they'll be peeing and pooping in here. So if it gets stinky and you want to try to do something about it, you can take these litter boxes. They slide up off of these circles here, and they're pretty good at using the litter boxes. So you can take one of these paper bags in the corner here and take the litter box, dump its contents into the paper bag, and then I've got spray and paper towel here to like wipe them down. And then this is the litter that I put 2 handfuls of this into their litter box, and it should help with the smell. You can like then roll up the bag after you've done that with all their litter boxes and throw it away. So that should help a lot if it does get stinky, but hopefully it won't get too bad. Additionally, it gets hot up here. So if it's like gonna be a hot day, I would say first of all, leave the window open overnight to try to get cool air in. And then during the day, if it's going to be hot, it's a good idea to, as early as, earlier in the day before it gets too hot up here, to just turn this AC on for them. And if it's supposed to be crazy hot, like in the 90s or 100s, which I hope it isn't, I've been putting them in the basement. I don't think you'll have to do that. I do have cages set up down there if it needs to happen. I can kind of send you more info. Surprisingly, to get WR downstairs, I literally just hold this cat carrier in front of his cage and he just walks into it, which is funny. But I hope that you won't have to do that, and if so, like I said, I'll give you more info about that. I think that's it, honestly. If they're running around up here, you might come back and Spinach will already be in his cage. Like I said, they really like their home. And yeah, they're really fun to hang out with. They're hot right now. Spinach is taking a little nap on the ground because it's hot up here. But yeah, they'll interact with you. They're really sweet. You can also give them gifts throughout the day. So like if you're eating an apple or some grapes, or like cooking some veggies like broccoli or squash or carrots or something, you can give them little gifts like that, and they'll love it. They love pasta. There's a few things they can't have, like, citrus is one of them. They can have sweet potatoes as long as they're cooked, that kind of thing. So I would just Google it to make sure it's safe for them before you do it. But that's basically it. I mean, as much stimuli as you can give them is awesome. If there's like a day where you just don't have time to let any of them out, that's okay. I think, obviously it's not going to be their normal sort of routine while I'm gone, and that's okay. So whatever you can and are willing to do is awesome. And I think that's it for the rats. So I also just want to show you some info about the cats. So this is how she gets out, through this cat door right here. And I'll close this up at night once she's inside, because she stays outside in the yard for the most part, which is really nice and chill and makes it easy. But at night, that's when she starts to get kind of like adventurous. And so before she goes to the neighbor's yard or something, I just want to make sure she's in. So this slides on, and that's how you close it. In the morning, I open it for her. And so if you see her come in, you know, in the late afternoon or something, you can just go ahead and close it. If not, sometimes I have to call her. And the way I call her is I go, honey, honey, come here, honey. And so she's not coming right now, so I'll go find her, but usually you'll hear her jingle bell. Oh, I hear it right now. She's coming. Hi, honey. So she was under there because it's hot out, and she likes to sleep under there because it's nice and cool. She's often around the corner over there. Looks like she just woke up from a nap. And so, yeah, listening for her jingle helps to see where she is. And like I said, she's usually out here somewhere, so it makes it pretty easy to track her. Sometimes she'll go into that neighbor's yard, and so I'll kind of go over to our front driveway and call her, and she'll usually come. If you're not having any luck with that, I'll leave some treats. And so what you can do is go, honey, and like, I don't know, you can call her however you want, but you can open up this treat bag, and like this sound will often compel her to come. So I'm gonna get a new treat bag so that you have that tool to get her in. She's super sweet. She's like really needy and meowy and loves attention, so hopefully you like cats, because she's definitely gonna be excited to hang out with you. When you bring your dog in, like especially for the first time or the first few times, it really helps, I think, if you can kind of, before your dog comes in, if you could put her up on one of these surfaces. They'll be cleaned off by the time you're here. And that way she's high up and feels safe when your dog comes in. Because if she's on the ground and your dog runs in, she'll probably go into like a fight or flight mode and like run or something. So if you could just make sure that she's high up so she feels safe, that would be awesome. And just an FYI, her litter box is in this basement right here, which is also, I guess I'll show you where the extra rat cages are, but just make sure this door isn't closed so that she can get to her litter box, which is right here. I don't think you'll need to clean it because we won't be gone super long. And then right now I have the rat cages set up here. So if, you know, it gets extremely hot, you can just bring them. This is where the trio lives, and this is where WR will live. You just have to bring their water bottles down. And if you could bring, I don't know, maybe it's okay, but if you want to bring their spaceships down, they really like those. But if it's just like a day or two, it's fine. But yeah, it's important that they have water down here. And on that note, if you could just kind of make sure their water bottles always have water. The trio drink really fast compared to WR. WR probably won't even need new water, but the trio, you'll probably have to fill their bottles a few times. I'm going to have this bottle up there as well with them. So yeah, I think that's everything. Let me know if you have any questions. And I really appreciate it again, and I'll talk to you soon. So one thing I forgot to mention about Spinach is that I think he's deaf. He didn't used to be, but he seems to not hear anything. So when you come up here, like the two babies will probably run up to you, but with him, he needs like a visual cue to know that you're there, and then he'll get hyped. But since he's the one that I would love for you to let out from time to time, it's harder to find him because he doesn't hear you when you come up to let him back in his cage. So you'll probably have to get like he'll have to get a visual cue from you. So if he's in one of those and you like peek in there and maybe like make some movements so that he can feel the box movements or something, he'll see you and run over. So yeah, he'll usually like come right over and be excited about humans. So yeah, that's just another heads up I thought was important to let you know about. He's a good guy. Good boy, he's gonna get in. I'll stop filming when he gets in so I can quickly close the door with my other hand. But he's curious enough that he'll usually just go in. Like I said, if he's already on his little wooden bridge, that's the ideal time to do this because it's just right in front of him and he's poised to just walk in. So it'll probably be easier than what I tried to do with him in the floor of the cage when I started. Good boy. Yeah, that's right. Go in there. Good boy, bud. Good. I'm gonna hang up or stop so I can close the door. Good job, bud.